Hi, this is Najee. Today we look at press releases, how to write press releases. Uh, Before we get into how we write press releases, let's look at why we should write press releases. A press release helps you tell your story to the world, and it costs you nothing. Compared to an ad, a press release, if it gets published, has a larger audience because you can place an ad in one newspaper or magazine, but a press release if picked can run in several newspapers or online outlets, and so the reach is bigger. Two, the weightage is bigger. When a consumer when you look at an ad, or when your consumer looks at an ad, any reader, when he looks at an ad, he that's what he thinks of it, an ad. But when the same person reads a news story, it has a lot more weightage because it's not a commercial piece that he's reading. It's an editor or a reporting writing about something, and accordingly has a lot more weightage. So you get a lot more bang for the buck when you write a press release. Um, the problem most small businesses or entrepreneurs or self-employed people face, that they haven't had the exposure to writing press releases and they never use it. It's not that difficult, and we'll go through an example, and I'll show you the different parts of a press release and how to write them, and then I'll include a text link for the same, so that you'll have a better idea of what is involved. You don't have to take notes. At the end of this session, I'll give you a link where the script of this presentation would be, so you can then print the script and watch the video again, and get a much better understanding of how to write press releases. Alright, so the first thing, if you look at the top the top left, it says for immediate release. Your press release would have that as its very first item. If it's not intended for immediate release, then you should mention the date you want it released, assuming the media cares, but that's how the procedure is. Um, right under that, you would enter your name, your title, your company name, your address, the telephone number, the web address, and your email. So that takes care of the top left hand corner. In the format for online web submission forms that we have for press releases, those are different, and but that's the mechanics of it. This is how you write a press release, and if an online forms, if a service has an online form that requires it differently, then we can always cut and paste it, and we'll look at one example on that also in the text in the script. Okay, once you have the top left taken care of, the next thing is your headline. Right in the middle, in bold, and it's better if you center it, you give your headline. Like in this example, we say short course on how to write press releases. So that's your headline. Right under it, you give an excerpt. Some old school may frown at that, uh, but it is effective, and most editors would rather prefer that you give an excerpt. You're basically making their life easier, and the more you make their life easier, the better your chance of getting your story published. So your headline, and right under it, your excerpt. Then we come down and take a look at the very first thing we have. This is called the date line. This is called the date line. And in the date line, you basically mention the location where it is originating from. So in this case, we say Dallas, Texas. The date it's originating, which is the date, today's date. And then you start your story. Now, make a note of one thing. You don't know how much space the editor has. So he may chop your whole story off based upon how much space he has available, and if you can plug your story in there, great. So every paragraph should present your complete story to that point. And if you're writing more, then in the next paragraph you give more detail, but that if wherever that paragraph ends, make sure that is a complete story. So it's like unfolding a story written on a scroll, but every paragraph till that point is a complete story. Your press release, the body of your press release, has to take care of what in public relations they call the 5 Ws. The 5 Ws are the where, the when, the why, what, and who. Where is this event happening? When? Why is that important? What will happen there? And who would be conducting the event or performing or whatever the story is. So make sure the body of your press release covers that. Um, and in this case, we have the first paragraph, then the second paragraph, and at every stage, we complete the story and then move over to the next paragraph and complete the story there. Don't get too verbose, even though you may have more room and you really may believe in your story and you think, hey, I can write a 5-page story here. Well, that's great, but that will not get you through the news screening process. So try to keep it no more than 150 to 200 words. You can make a full page, but it'll have to be an amazing story to go over more than one page. The best thing is, especially with the web being so prevalent, the internet, everybody has access to the internet. So the best thing is actually not to provide all the details. Pique the reader's interest and then send them to your website. You tantalize enough to to spark curiosity, but don't give all the detail. Let them come to your website where you can have a better chance of interacting with the reader, giving them more detail, and hopefully continuing beyond that. So tantalize, but don't give all the detail, and provide a link to your website where they can have additional detail. And when you're done with your story, here you have the link to your website, and you end it with 3 hash marks. That signifies to the editor that this is where your story ends. So I hope it helped. The link where we have the script of this presentation and additional detail. It's a long web address, but what to do? You can't put everything on your root directory, and just copy it down. We've also given this in the description of this video. So if for some reason the description is not available to you, then it's right here. You can just copy it, blocksense.ws/corel/press-release.htm, but it's also in the description. I know some video services cut out